This is the drought update for September 26, 2013. My name is Jeff Boyne, one of the forecasters here at the National Weather Service in La Crosse. Looking at the precipitation from September 17th through the 24th, 1 to 3 inches of rain fell across Clayton County in northeast Iowa, and in Crawford, Richland, and Grant counties in southwest Wisconsin, and the southern portions of Adams and Juneau counties in central Wisconsin. This rain fell at a time when our crop water usage is actually on its decline. This is the soybean average daily water usage throughout its lifetime period right now, and we're towards the end of its life cycle, and typically during this time period it only needs less than 1/10 of an inch of water. As a result, much of the precipitation that falls is actually being used to replenish the topsoil and subsoil moistures. Looking at the latest drought conditions across the area, we see a 1-category improvement across portions of northeast Iowa and southwest Wisconsin. Meanwhile, the severe drought remains across west central and central Wisconsin and along the Mississippi River in southeast Minnesota. Looking at precipitation deficits that still reside across the area since July 1st, in north central and northeast Iowa, precipitation deficits range from about 4.5 to 7.33 inches. In southeast Minnesota, they range between 6 and 8 inches. In north central Wisconsin, they range from 4.5 to 7.5 inches. In west central Wisconsin, between 6.33 and 8.5 inches. In central Wisconsin, they range between 7 and 8 inches. And finally, in southwest Wisconsin, they range from about 3.5 to 7.5 inches. Looking at the drought impacts, it still basically is affecting agriculture, and it has reduced soybeans and corn yields in the severe drought areas. And this is primarily on the non-irrigated and sandy soils. Some farmers are chopping up their crops for silage right now because the yields are too low. Pastures have stopped growing. Some farmers did not get a third hay crop, and if they did, the yields were low. Still, around 50% of the pastures in Iowa are rated poor or very poor. In Minnesota right now, they're about 44%. And both these numbers are a slight improvement from last week. Some fruit was aborted or is smaller than normal, and the pumpkin crop is smaller and fewer than normal. Looking ahead as far as what the precipitation and temperatures are going to do during the next 2 months, for the short term right now, we're actually concerned with a Madden-Julian oscillation. This is an area of enhanced thunderstorm activity which circles the equatorial regions between about 30 and 45 days. Currently in the red circle area, which is over Indonesia, is where we're seeing enhanced showers and thunderstorm activity associated with this Madden-Julian oscillation. Across much of the eastern hemisphere right now, in the lower image, you'll see green, and that indicates enhanced upward motion. Meanwhile, areas in the western hemisphere, which includes North America, South America, and that shows areas of subsidence in the areas of brown. This is part of the reason why we're not actually seeing any hurricane activity across the Atlantic basin right now. Now, what does the Madden-Julian oscillation mean as far as for us? In Phase 5, it's located over Indonesia. In Phase 6, it's actually located over the Western Pacific. During the next week, the Madden-Julian oscillation will be transitioning to Phase 6. Now, looking at some composites, these are just looking back at time periods where this has occurred in the month of October. We've typically had above normal temperatures across the central United States when the Madden-Julian oscillation is over the Western Pacific. Meanwhile, the precipitation is usually enhanced across the northern border states Looking at the upper air pattern, this is centered on October 3rd. This shows a ridge, which is indicated by red, from the Tennessee Valley north into eastern Canada. Meanwhile, there's a trough in Alaska and western Canada, and this is indicated by the areas in blue. Looking at the week 2 temperature outlook, which is from October 2nd through October 8th, it shows above normal temperatures from the western United States across the northern tier of states clear out to Maine. As far as precipitation goes, right now much of our area is actually in the near normal, with below normal precipitation mainly across the western half of the United States, and above normal precipitation from Tennessee up into Maine. Looking ahead for the rest of October and into November, and this is for temperatures, and this is from our coupled forecast system model, which is a climate model, and it's using the data from September 14th through September 23rd. Right now it's currently forecasting above normal temperatures, and this is indicated by the reds and browns. The reddish areas are approximately about 2 to 4 degrees above normal, where the brown areas are ranging from about 3 to 7 inches above normal. So as you can see, through at least October 22nd right now, it looks like temperatures will be primarily above normal across the area. Looking ahead for the month of November, above normal temperatures are expected across the eastern half of the United States. As far as precipitation is concerned, right now areas in brown in the maps are showing areas where precipitation is expected to be below normal. Green areas are areas where precipitation is supposed to be above normal, meaning all the white areas, it could go either way, pretty much near normal. And it's showing that our area is primarily going to be near normal to maybe below normal through the second week in October. And looking at the precipitation outlook from the model, it's showing above normal precipitation from Texas up into southern Minnesota and Wisconsin for the month of November. So we may actually see some promise for getting some moisture into the soils before winter, which will actually help our trees out quite a bit. If you have any questions, here's my email, and thanks for listening.